You had Garrett Riley at number 1. Defend it.
What he did last year, and I know you're going to say this, he was in the Big 12. What he did last year, and it's the argument that gets brought up all the time with these great coordinators. What do they do with, a bunch of scraps, a couple of screws? What can they build together? Max Duggan wasn't even the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year.
I agree with
Quentin
you.
Johnston was an enigma. Quentin Johnston was this guy's got talent, but who the heck is he?
I agree with you.
There were a bunch of nobodies in this receiver room. Kendrick Miller was somebody who wasn't even really talked about because Zach Evans was there. For him to take all of these, I'm going to be honest, at the time, directionless misfits in a way, to bring them together as a cohesive unit and to turn them into one of the most productive offenses in the country, to get your team to the national championship, their success, a lot of it goes to Garrett Riley. And I think the massive part to me, he is one of the few coaches in college football that, like, I'll watch games consistently, and you're just like, how is that guy so wide open? He is one of the best coaches at scheming people open. You can be a good play caller and know situationally what to call, but if your scheme is strong enough offensively that you know how to find those lapses in a defense and to create space and to put your athletes in space, to put a guy like Quentin Johnston in space to make big, massive plays, long touchdowns, to set up Kendrick Miller for long rushes, even though he's not a fast guy, that to me is extremely impressive. And I've said this on the show, and I'm going to keep saying the whole offseason. Him at Clemson with Cade Klubnik, he's going to explode. He will be a head coach the following year based on the results that he produces this upcoming season.
His brother's offense does look really good at Clemson, doesn't it?
There's no nepotism here. There's no nepotism here, Blake.
Well,
results are results.
That's the wrong vocabulary word, because nepotism is when you hire,
Sorry, but you know what I mean. There is no. This is not because of Lincoln, because I don't like Lincoln Riley. I've said this on this show. I've established this. I am not.
It doesn't matter if you like him or don't like him. He's a good offensive play caller, and it's his playbook that his brothers had at TCU.
Results are results.
What were his results like against Georgia?
It was the one bad game that they had. Every other game.
Oh, so the best team that he played, he couldn't scheme anybody open.
That was more. Wait. No. That was more of a mismatch of athletes than that was anything to go.
Quentin Johnston's supposed to be a first-round pick, is he not?
He got his ass kicked.
Okay, well, maybe he's not first-round pick worthy. Or
it's a question I ask myself every single day.
Or his OC might not be that good. Now,
I have enough games of results to know that he is a good offensive coordinator. I am not going to detract from that. I'm not going to detract because of one bad game. Everyone has bad games.
Not that bad. Not that bad.
It was not showing up as effectively prepared as he could, but the fact that there was such an athletic mismatch is what led to the result. That's not all on him.
Well, it was an athletic mismatch against Michigan too. He folded.
But he showed it.
I think it's of my opinion that the Riley brothers fold under pressure.
I push back on that because the way that he showed up against Michigan, a game that he was supposed to get blown out in.
You know who else falls under pressure? Harbaugh.
Michigan. Yeah. He still showed up in a game where he was supposed to get blown out, and that was probably one of his best called games.
60 points he wasn't.
Again, you can't.
All right.
Yes.
So I've been poo-pooing on your guy. Yeah. I agree with you on a couple things.
Yeah.
I think that he has the knowledge. Okay. Look, what he did to Max Duggan and for Max Duggan's career, I agree with you. 1,000% just next world. Okay. I also agree with you that I think that he can do some good. He's going to do really good at Clemson. I think that if he puts a good thing, a couple of good games together, good season together, if Clemson gets to the playoff, Clemson's got an issue on their hands because somebody's going to want to poach him, especially due to his last name. It is what it is. Same with Lane Kiffin. If Lane Kiffin wasn't Lane Kiffin, if he was Lane Smith, nobody would really probably give a damn. It's just the
Right.
truth, right? He's still a good play caller, meaning Lane. I just don't like what he looked like against Georgia. I don't like it. And
Okay.
the only reason I put him at 2 myself was because he coached them to a national title. I think he led them there more than Sonny Dykes did. Okay. I think he deserves credit. I could honestly see him being out of this list next year. I can also see him being a head coach. There's no real middle ground for me. I don't think he's a middle ground guy.
You really think that with everything that he did last year, stepping into a situation at
The
Clemson,
toughest teams they played outside of Michigan, he folded.
but he's not going to be playing. He's not going to be
Kansas
playing
State?
significantly.
He's not playing
tougher.
Kansas State.
The ACC teams he's going to be facing are not going to be.
Go. Let's go. All right. Well, then let's go through play calling. He got his quarterback killed. He got his quarterback killed against Kansas State. You know that, and I know that. We talked about that ad nauseum.
Quinn Johnson was hurt that game, though, wasn't he?
I mean, he got nicked up, but he came back. I mean, it's not like it was a
banged up playing in that game. So, like,
Joe,
his best receiver wasn't really available to him.
With all due respect, so is everybody else. So is everybody else. Starting quarterbacks go out against Georgia. Backup quarterback comes in. You scheme open, a.k.a. Mike Denbrock, 30 points against Georgia, which you said was a knockout, even though that there were 14 points. They had a ball in the 20. They were about to get into a 7-point window, even though you don't remember that Rudy Poo of a stat.
Okay.
Nevertheless, Joe, he did not – Kirby wiped his ass like a baby did. Like it was his baby.